Vikings fans out here at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center alongside NFL Network's Rhett Lewis. Rhett, welcome to Minnesota. Welcome out here to Eagan.
So I love being out here, for the record. So I used to come up here, not to Eagan, but to the Minneapolis area and the suburbs. My dad grew up in Redwood County, Minnesota. So we used to come up every summer. So it's great to kind of get back here in a training camp setting and to get back to Minnesota. I love following the Vikings.
And before we get things going, we'll put this out here. You're a big Whop Billier fan?
Well, I'm wearing my red today, obviously.
My Indiana Hoosier sneaker.
I mean, you got to get some of that. Come on, right? I've been following the Whop Billier highlight hype machine here that's gone on through camp. I loved him. Fellow Hoosier alum, so always follow him and pulling for him, but it sounds like he's doing pretty good out here. So.
Yeah, he's competing for a role. So are so many of these guys. A couple of guys that really don't have to worry about that, though, are the new rookies vying for starting roles on the offensive line. Of course, we're talking about first-round pick Christian Darrisaw, third-round pick Wyatt Davis.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the new look offensive line?
So I really love those guys in the work that I did for NFL Network leading up to the draft. I thought Christian Darrisaw was probably the third best tackle in the draft, and I thought you got great value getting him where you did in the first round. And I know Coach Zimmer would probably love to have him available on a bit more of a consistent basis out here at camp, but I imagine he's going to put the injury stuff behind here soon and get out here. But, man, when you think about if you can slide him into left, you got Brian O'Neill at right tackle, you got Garrett Bradbury, and then you throw Wyatt Davis into the mix in the interior. It says the makings of a really young, valuable core that, all teams are striving to build, and the way that Rick Spielman's been able to do it through the draft is really special, kind of a homegrown offensive line, which is always nice.
You mentioned Coach Zimmer a second ago, and it was a very uncharacteristic year for his defense last season. Right. But during this offseason, a lot of big names being added to the roster, especially, though, the biggest name, I think, Patrick Peterson. Yeah. And what kind of value can someone like PP7 add to the cornerback room?
Immense value. Immense value in what he's seen, in his experience, and then obviously he's just a really good player, and has been one of the better guys. You get his hands on the football, and you're thinking pick six, immediately, right? So I really and I think Coach Zimmer is going to love having a nice veteran presence out there. Ever since Xavier Rhodes left in free agency, that maybe it was time to get somebody that had that kind of veteran feel. And then I've been really excited, kind of following the first few days of camp with what Cam Dantzler's up to as a second year player. And kind of seeing how they kind of fill in, and then those depth pieces, who's out there running that nickel cornerback spot, and obviously Harrison Smith is gonna keep things solid back there as a safety. So I think there's a lot to be excited about.
In your eyes, what do the Minnesota Vikings have to do to win the division this year, make it all the way?
Well, I think if you go back to what they did on offense last year, it was pretty good for the most part. Dalvin Cook, the most explosive player in football, led the league in yards, in scrimmage yards per game. So you kind of keep that going, and then you just get Coach Zim's defense back up to where it's been, and you're right in the thick of things, competing with the Packers for the NFC North, and then competing, to be one of the best teams in the NFC and to be a playoff team this year. So. Keep doing what worked on offense, right? And then just get this defense a little bit back to what's been more customary with Coach Zimmer. I think we're right there.
All right. Thank you so much to the NFL Network's Rhett Lewis for joining us here on Vikings.com.